Hi there, welcome back. Well, here's my portfolio. As you guys can see, we're at $278,516.27. And so I finally did get that $10,000 check in the mail, that loan I was waiting for, which did increase my portfolio value here and also increased my dividends because I already used $10,000 worth of it and I bought Xdte, all in $10,000. So as you guys can see here, it increased my annual dividends to $63,882.70. And my monthly income in dividends, $5,323.56. So I did end up buying XDTE. It was under my average cost, so I was in the red on it. And I thought, well, it's a great time to just go all in and buy $10,000 worth of Xdte. So if we look at Xdte here, let's just look for it right here. Xdte right here, and I currently have now 255 shares of Xdte. As you guys can see, my average cost is $43.86. It is now, about 4% of my portfolio. And I guess on average, it's going to be paying $64.83 on a weekly basis. Okay. So a pretty good amount. And I'm also going to buy, I also bought HOOY, about $2,000 worth of HOOY. So if we go to HOOY, the Robinhood Yield Max option income strategy, I now have 46 shares of this. It is 1.1% of my portfolio, and it should be paying me about close to $180 on a monthly basis. Okay, so I bought those two, and I'm waiting to buy 4 other ETFs. I already have the limit orders in, but of course, I've put the limit orders for lower prices so that hopefully those buys go through. And then that was my plan. Xdte and 5 Yield Max ETFs to produce an extra $1,000 a month. And basically, since it's going to produce $1,000 a month, half of that is going to be used to pay down the debt every month. And so that's how it's going to work. Borrow the money, put it in here, buy something that pays you something, and then the money you get paid from dividends pays down the loan. And it's not the first time I do that. It is a little bit risky because we really don't know what's going to happen in the market. As we can see here, the fear and greed index is at 59 points. On Friday, in my last video, I was at 61 points. So yeah, one other thing that I think I'm going to be doing, let's go to my real portfolio here. Here's the ETFs that I'm still waiting. They're pending orders. Hopefully they go through at the prices that I set them for. As you guys can see, it's FBY, which is Meta, PLTY, which is Palantir, AMZY, Amazon, NVDY, NVIDIA. And so if we scroll all the way to the bottom, I wanted to talk about this ETF, ULTY. Currently at $5.75. I bought it for $6.41. Now, I do not reinvest dividends. I don't reinvest any dividends whatsoever. But I may have to start reinvesting maybe a portion of this dividend into ULTI. On average, ULTI has paid me about, close to $240 per month. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to keep the $200 and I'm going to reinvest that $38 on a monthly basis. That way, my average cost starts coming down, and I start owning more shares slowly, because this is now 4.91% of my portfolio. So I don't want to reinvest the entire dividend back. I want to reinvest just a small portion of the dividend on a this is actually on a weekly basis here. So Whatever extra above the 200 it pays, I'm just gonna use that to buy more Ulti. That way I lower my average cost and I end up owning more shares at lower prices, and I end up getting paid more in dividends. I'm also thinking about doing that exact same thing with Yield Max, or sorry, YMAX. As you guys can see, I bought it for almost $14. It is at $12.73 now. And so I'm thinking about doing the same thing here. As you guys can see, let's look at this dividend. It's $177. It always pays a little bit over $100 per week. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to keep the 100 to pay down margin, but that extra, whatever extra is left, I'm going to use that to buy a little bit more. And so that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. I may be doing it with all these other ETFs that are down, because for the most part, the ones that are in the red are the Yield Max ETFs. Okay. The ones that I'm in the green on the most is these two, QQQI and SPY-I. So as I've mentioned before, these two have income and growth. And so I've got to find some way to increase my position size in an S&P 500 type of ETF because I need more growth from this portfolio. So for example, let's look at this ETF, UPRO. This is a 3X bull ETF. So it does 3 times what the S&P 500 does. It'll do 3 times to the upside, and it'll also do 3 times to the downside. But for the most part, the market usually goes up, especially in a bull market. And, I believe we are in a bull market. And so if you guys have seen one of my previous videos, a bull market on average lasts about a little bit over 3 years. And a bear market lasts about 1 year, maybe a little bit over 1 year. But for the most part, the market goes up. And so with an ETF like this doesn't pay a dividend. But there is a good reason to own something like this. The reason to own it is because it's going to track the index by 3 times. So if the index goes up by 1%, this should go up by 3%. If the index, the S&P 500, goes down by 1%, this should go down by 3%. But of course, the S&P 500 always bounces back from a crash. Other ETFs that don't pay a dividend but are probably good to own, for example, is this SPY-G. SPY-G is a growth ETF. Now, this ETF doesn't pay a dividend at all. But if we look at the long-term performance of SPY-G, as you guys can see, here's the April crash when it was the Liberation Day, the announcement of all the tariffs. And so as you guys can see, it has definitely bounced back and it has surpassed its previous high. If we look at a 5-year, as you guys can see, it's up and to the right. If we look at maximum, this has done 366.29% to the upside. And so I need to make this and maybe UPRO and maybe some other ETFs larger positions in my portfolio to produce growth. Because my goal in income, my goal in dividend income, my first goal has been reached. My first goal was to make in dividends equal to what I make in my job. And it's already surpassed that. So I have already reached that goal. As a matter of fact, it's surpassed that goal. My next goal is to reach, I would like to reach $10,000 a month. But I will be doing that surely but slowly, I guess. Right? Of course, I am borrowing money to accelerate that. And this should be bumped up by 1,000. If I do end up getting another 10,000, it'll be bumped up to another 1,000. So if I do end up getting that extra 10, my assumption is that I should be making anywhere like about maybe 7,000 a month. getting me closer to that secondary goal of $10,000 a month. And so since I'm already kind of making here what I would like to make, I'm going to be buying more growth ETFs, like the ones I showed you. There are some other ones that are both growth and income, but they have less income. I mean, way less. They have more growth and way less income, although they do have some income on a monthly basis. For example, let me show you guys one of those ETFs. It's DTD. This one here from Wisdom Tree US Total Dividend. So if we look at the long-term track record of this, it's just up and to the left, as you guys can see. It's growth. I would consider this growth and income, but mostly growth. And it does pay a monthly dividend, okay? I currently don't own it, so that's why you don't see here that I'm getting paid a dividend, but it pays a monthly dividend, and I guess in August it paid 14 cents, okay? But the reason to own something like this that really doesn't pay such a large dividend is because the price is going to go up. The value is going to go up. And so if we look here year to date, here's the crash, the April Liberation Day crash. And as you guys can see since then, I mean, this thing has been pumping up in price. This also comes back from a crash, right? It doesn't just stay down here. And so a lot of the YieldMax ETFs, unfortunately, don't appreciate in value. Yeah, they pay you a very large dividend, and that's why I own a bunch of them, because I need that income. And they pay very large dividends. But you also need to combine it with something that doesn't necessarily pay a large dividend or may not pay a dividend at all, but it's going to grow. It's going to grow in value because you need to keep your portfolio growing in value. And so that's what I intend to do moving forward. I intend to buy these type of ETFs that have growth in them, not necessarily a dividend. And so yeah, that's what I'll be doing moving forward. If you guys would like to continue watching my channel, please do me a big favor, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you guys got any questions or any comments, please leave them down below. I'll be glad to read your comments and answer any of your questions. Thank you for watching. You guys have a good one. God bless. Talk to you in the next video. Bye.